how I use astrology, not even how I use astrology, bruh, how astrology is baked into reality even without us being aware of it. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what I wanted to show real quick. Um uh so I did a video, right? Full video on YouTube at Spiritual Cheese, um where I basically connected or showed the connection between um the days of the week and the 7 traditional planets. Um, that being, matter of fact, I'll go to it real quick. Pull it up real quick. Yeah, days of the week right here. You know what I'm saying? The full video is on YouTube. I did another video, I put it on Instagram, at Spiritual Cheese as well. Um, that's much more quicker. Like, it's much more quicker. It just shows um the information. Let me click on it. It shows the information to, like, we see, okay, boom, here. Third. See? So how you see how it says Tuesday, right? But let me see if I could go a little further. I'll go further. Day of the week. If you keep reading, of course, you have God of War, Deity of Ancient. But if you look closely toward the bottom, last paragraph, Day of Mars. Okay, you see it? Mars. Boom. You see it? You see the red line? Right? So this is what I did. There's a video I did, right, where you can watch it if you want, where I showed Tuesday, right? I did it for all the days of the week. But Tuesday, right, which is the 3rd day of the week, not the 2nd, the 3rd day of the week, you need to know where you are mentally before physically, because there's a lot of misleading going on, right? So Tuesday is the 3rd day of the week, right? And it means, or what planet is it related to? See, it is the day. If you look at the red line, it's the day of Mars, right? The day of Mars. Today, which is Saturday, today is the day of Saturn, the planet Saturn, right? So, to come out of that and to go back to Astro Matrix, this is what we're using. We're using Astro Matrix, right? You can get it. It's free. It's free to get it. There is a paid version where you can basically save or do like multiple members. But if you want, you can just get a free one. You feel what I'm saying? You get a free account. You sign up. You put in your birth date, the time if you have the time, and the location, and then um, it gives you your astrological chart, right? Your birth chart, natal chart, zodiac. So what I wanted to get into was to understanding the transit and where we are within, today. You feel me? Because a lot of people look at astrology, and then they just look at their chart. You know what I'm saying? But you got to realize your chart is like a screenshot, right? Your chart is a screenshot of where all the planets were within the constellations, right? Each zodiac sign is a constellation. So your chart shows where the planets were within each constellation. And then from that point, you must realize that those planets move. They move, they transit, they move into other signs, right? I'm gonna just keep it traditional and practical so that niggas realize that astrology is not something that is pseudoscience. Astrology is the system that created all other systems. So, boom, let's get into a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. Just a little bit, and then I could, you know what I'm saying? Right now, Saturn is in Pisces, right? Saturn is in Pisces in the 11th house. And we'll just break down, or we'll just read a little bit, right? So the expression is practicality. We know that's what Saturn is. Saturn is about limitations. Saturn is about concrete information. Saturn is about restriction, discipline. So a lot of people put negative connotations on Saturn, but Saturn is actually a very positive planet, especially when it comes into Libra, the sign of Libra, which is where it's exalted, or the seventh house. So when we realize that the ruler of Pisces is Neptune, right? The planet Neptune. The element of Pisces is water, right? The degree that we're in apparently is 25 degrees. Look at the Ten of Cups. I don't really do tarot cards, or should I say, I'm not that experienced in tarot cards, but it is connected to astrology. Um, the third eye, right? The third eye, which is your pineal gland. Um, I'm not gonna say too much. I'm not gonna say too much. Modality is mutable. Yes, Pisces is a mutable sign, a mutable water sign, right? And I believe this is supposed to be like the stone that's associated with Pisces, and or just this placement. You pronounce that. I ain't pronouncing it. Let me hold on. Let me make it do it. Cause a nigga really, you know what I'm saying, be flowing, but Labra, Labrado right, Labrador. Woo, that's a hard one. La Labra Labradorite, Labradorite, Labradorite. Yeah, Labradorite, Labrandorite. I don't know. One of the two. Um, so let's look at the opportunities that is granted to us in dealing with Saturn and Pisces transit, right? Because my Saturn, your Saturn might be in a different zodiac sign in a different house. So it's about how the transit Saturn and your natal Saturn are relating, right? Relating or doing a dance, if you will, like they dancing together. You know what I'm saying? So realize that, man, it's so much to get into so that y'all understand where you should think from when you start to think about astrology and how it connects to you, right? So it's so because it's so hard to speak about it because there's so many things I want to say to propel people faster and forward, but in due time. Opportunities, right? Opportunities um is okay. Opportunities. Our opportunities that we are granted when Saturn is in Pisces is healing wounds and learning boundaries, right? The goals, sacrificing your wants. That's a big one. A lot of people don't want to do that. Dedicating life to service, right? Remember, Pisces is the sign of service. Yeah. It is also um, opposite of Virgo, right? Virgo is the sign of, right? Virgo is the I don't want to get too, just keep it traditional, man. Virgo on a traditional level is ruled by Mercury. On a soul level is ruled by the moon, right? So traditionally, a lot of Virgos, right, are into science, are into mathematics, are into concrete facts and proof, right? Evidence that that fact is or can be seen or observed with the senses. Pisces, on the other hand, is what you would call the opposite. But what I like to make people understand that the opposites, right, which is of two signs. So we have six pairs. I can run it down for you real quick. We have six pairs. We have Aries and Libra. That's a pair, right? What they call a natural marriage or opposites in traditional astrology. In soul centered astrology, they are looked at as natural marriages, meaning they complement one another. Um, the next one is Taurus and Scorpio, right? Then after that is Gemini and Sagittarius. Then it is Cancer and Capricorn. Then it is Leo and Aquarius. Then it is Virgo and Pisces. Yeah, and that's the last one. Yeah, six. So, right, if you are right, so boom, if you are so like me, right, my sun sign is in Cancer, right. So naturally, if I was unconscious of my energy, being around a Capricorn, right, a sun sign Capricorn, um, we would bump heads traditionally, right? We would bump heads unconsciously, right? Not knowing that one, we are saying the same thing in a different way, and that our energies complement one another, right? So Cancer is the gate in, Capricorn is the gate out. I'm using this as an example so you understand that this duality of things is really a polarity, right? It's really a singular spectrum that has what you would call two sides, but uh, it's really all inclusive. So with my experience, right? Because I have so much Capricorn in my chart, I don't. It doesn't come off that abrasive with me in, like, let's say another Capricorn. You know what I'm saying? I'm being a sun sign Cancer. Um, right? What is sun? Cancer is about your roots, right? Cancer is about the home. Cancer is about family, but it's really about the mass consciousness, right? Because you have there's these traditional understandings of things, and then there's your soul centered understanding of things, right? So you have the exoteric lower and the esoteric higher, but it's not to compare or to put one over the next. It's to actually blend them. So as a human being, you must blend your lower self with your higher self. So in that creates harmony, balance, right? That's why Saturn is exalted in Libra. So Libra is the sign of balance. So, but let me get off the rant. I mean, I am live on Twitch and you got all day, you know what I'm saying? But just if niggas want to understand certain shit. So, sacrificing your wants, dedicating life to service is what I'm trying to do right now. So, an affirmation. I am capable of delving into my unconscious experiences and embracing my spiritual path, finding inner serenity and wisdom, regardless of the challenges I face. If this sounds like something you're going through right now, you feel me? You could just, let a nigga know. I'm also gonna post this on YouTube and shit. So, it's for everybody, man. If you don't catch it now, you catch it later. And we'll just read a little bit. I won't read the discipline and the response. I mean, I could go through it so you could read it, right? And I could leave it there. But then again, in the beginning, I told you how to get to this website, right? Deeper connection with the soul. So I told you how to get to the website. It's called Astro Matrix. It's free. You don't have to pay. There is a paid version if you want to go deeper, in the sense of like being able to save other people in your account. If you don't want to do that, if you just want you, free, nigga. So yeah. So let's read a little bit. With Saturn and Pisces, you are called to bridge the gap between the material and the spiritual, feeling isolated or lost at times. Karmic challenges from past lifetimes require sacrificing material ambitions. To avoid unconscious fears, explore your spiritual path and my bad. Yeah. Explore your spiritual path and frame experiences authentically. Upbringing difficulties, like carrying for a mentally I said carrying. I'm so better. Nigga begin high. like caring for a mentally ill or addicted parent may be present. So holy shit. If you are in a very traditional and practical sense, right? Um, upbringing difficulties. This is talking about your childhood, right? Saturn rules Capricorn on a traditional and on a soul level. On a lower level and higher level, Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So when Saturn comes into, I'm just giving you a little sauce. So if Saturn comes into Cancer, Saturn is put in Cancer, right? It is a that person uh will have what you would call, or they think that they had a very difficult childhood, right? A person with Saturn in Cancer will continuously think about the hardships that they had in childhood. I know this to be true because I have a Saturn in Capricorn, and like we just said, Capricorn is the opposite or the complement of Cancer. So my my shadow position of Saturn. You know what? I'm getting too carried away. I'll be gonna do shadow positions in another video. You feel me? If you want to know what shadow positions is about, right? Because if astrology itself doesn't give you what you need, I mean, I'm one of the masters. That's right. I'm one of the up and coming, in the making masters of astrology. So if you feel like the traditional representation and explanation of astrology doesn't do it for you, there is a shadow position for every planet. And if you want, I could get into that. You know what I'm saying? Well, I will get into that, but just in the future or in the present, away from this present. Okay. Um, so yes, upbringing difficulties like caring for a mentally ill or addicted parent may be present. To avoid escapism, heal heal past life wounds and focus on your spiritual life. Healthy boundaries and fortifying your inner father are crucial for safety. Now when they say inner father, they're not talking about your biological dad, even though he is a symbol of what this inner father is to represent. It's to represent the divine spiritual purpose in a person, right? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get my book so I can just tell you real quick what that actually breaks down to, because I don't want to lead you astray. Hold on, gang. So let me just. I'm not gonna be long winded, gang. I just want to. I don't want you to. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to lead you astray, gang. Um, Remember, Capricorn. Everything is ruled by something else. You feel me? Everything is ruled by something, and it's all connected, bro. Um, So the tenth house, which is also ruled by Saturn and Capricorn, right? So if you can see it, traditionally, yeah, I done fucked this book up. But traditionally, right, the tenth house, right? I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I can see. Feel me? Tenth house, right? Tenth house, traditional, the father. See that? The father, right? And the father translates into, when we take it to soul centered, right, which is higher, right? What did that say? Divine will revealed as the accumulation of spiritual purpose. Do you see that? So what is this? So it's saying, yeah, here we go. I don't know why it took me so long to catch that. So inner father, right? The inner father is the divine will, right? Your divine will uh uh um I don't forgot the statement already, but I know it. It's your divine will, right? Here we go. Yes, Divine will revealed as the accumulation of spiritual purpose. Divine will revealed as the accumulation of spiritual purpose. You feel me? So when it's telling you fortify your inner father, fortify your inner divine will, right? And crucial for safety. Because when you start to get frustrated, due to the tedious activities of practical life, you need something to call on, something to um yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a sense, fall back on in order to understand why you're going through this, why you should push forward, right? Your divine will, the inner father, is what should sustain um you on that spiritual path. You feel me? Um, as a collective conduit, you work through victim, merit, and survivor archetypes. How you say this word? Shamanic rituals like sweat lodges. Wow, hilarious. You just see on stream everybody in the fucking sweat lodge, and burying rituals aid surrender and trust. You see, you see, right? Explore. See some of these words. I don't. What is this? Archetypal work. Don't worry. Some of these things is but we'll get it. Energy medicine and memory retrieval for therapeutic support. Basically, um, meditation. You feel me? Energy medicine, sound. Reflect on embracing the challenges and opportunities of Saturn and Pisces to cultivate variety and foster uniqueness. Integrate the material and spiritual aspects of life for inner serenity, wisdom, peace, and spiritual connectedness. Here's a question you ask, right? How can you integrate the material and spiritual aspect of your life in a way that brings you inner serenity, wisdom, peace, and spiritual connectedness?